Hello and welcome back, future scientists. I'm Mr. K with Mississippi Public Broadcasting. We're going to talk about something a little bit different today. What I'm going to introduce is something known as a dichotomous key. What this is used for is you can take an organism that you don't know the name of, you can use this dichotomous key and it's going to help you identify it, okay? One thing that I really want to point out at the beginning here is the name dichotomous. Look at that prefix, di. Di means two, and so usually what's going on here is it's going to give you two options and you just have to pick the one that best fits the organism that you're looking at. Then it'll kind of lead you through a series of steps, and it's going to help you identify it. So let's take a closer look at it. We'll do an easy example and then we'll go through a more complicated example towards the end of the lesson. So let's go ahead and learn about a dichotomous key. So a dichotomous key is a tool used to identify organisms or objects by leading the users through a series of choices. Each choice is going to narrow down the possibilities. The structure of a dichotomous key is that it's organized as a series of paired statements or questions, each pair offering two choices, usually yes or no options. The process here is that you start from the first pair. The user selects the option that best describes the organism or object, then follows the directions to the next pair of statements. Through this, the outcome will be that with each choice, the key progressively narrows the options down until only one specific organism or object remains. The usefulness here is that they are commonly used in biology for species identification. A dichotomous key simplifies the process by focusing only on distinguishing characteristics. So, I have a little example I want to do with y'all. This is an easy example just to kind of walk you through the process, and then we'll try a more complicated one here in just a moment. So if you read the directions here, it says pick one of the following animals. We're going to start at number 1 and then we're going to follow the directions. Okay, I'll walk through this one with y'all and then we'll get a little bit more practice here in just a second. So what I want to do is that we're going to start with the lizard. With the dichotomous key, you always start at the first pair and then you just follow the directions after that. So let's do a lizard and we'll kind of walk through these steps. So number 1 says, does the animal have a backbone? If we think the animal does have a backbone, you can see that yes tells us to go to 2, and that if we don't think it has a backbone, it would say this is not a vertebrate. So a lizard does have a backbone, and so we'll go to number 2. Let's read number 2 and we'll kind of go through that. 2 says, does the animal live primarily in water? Yes, we would go to 3, and no, we would go to 4. A lizard is a reptile, and reptiles do not live primarily in the water. So here we'll go to option 4. We're just going to skip 3 because that's what the directions tells us to do. So no, we're going to go to question 4. Number 4 says, does the animal have feathers? If it does have feathers, that would tell us that it's a hawk, but lizards do not have feathers, so we're going to go to number 5 instead. Number 5 says, does the animal have fur? The lizard does not have fur, and so you can see there that we have correctly identified the organism here as a lizard. Let's do one more of these. Again, this is kind of the simple example, and we'll try a harder one here in just a moment. Okay, so this time let's try the hawk. Okay, we'll try the hawk this time. So again, we always start at number 1. It says, does the animal have a backbone? Yes, so it tells us to go to 2. 2 says, does the animal live primarily in water? Hawks do not live primarily in water, so no, we're going to go to 4. And it says, does the animal have feathers? Yes, it does, and so we have correctly identified the hawk. So that's just kind of a breakdown of how these dichotomous keys work. That is a little bit of an oversimplified example, and I'm going to show you a more complicated example here in just a moment. So teacher, if you could, go ahead and pass out that dichotomous key practice worksheet, and then y'all give it a try. Y'all take 10 or 15 minutes. You might even want to work with a partner on this, and then when you feel like you're ready for the review, come back to me and I'll do it on the board with us. All right, scientists, I'm sure that didn't give y'all any problem, but just in case it did, let's go ahead and review this together. What I want to do here is we're going to start with the first fish. We're going to go through this dichotomous key. Remember to always start at number 1, and we just follow the directions from there. By the end of this process, we should be able to identify all of these different kinds of fish. So let's go ahead and get started and see what we can do. I'm just going to leave it right here so you can see what I'm writing. I've got the dichotomous key in my hand, so I'll be referring to that, and that'll help me kind of identify these fish as well. So let's start at the first one here. All right. So we need to identify what type of fish number 1 is. Remember, when you're doing these dichotomous keys, you always start at the first option. Number 1 says, does the fish have its dorsal fin, the fin on its back, that extends onto its head? If you look at number 1, this is the dorsal fin. It does not go over the head. It kind of stays on the back. So I would say no for this one. And if we pick the no answer choice, it tells us to go to number 2. So let's go to number 2. 2 says, does the fish have yellow fins? Okay, I'm looking really closely. It does have a single yellow fin here. You can see that that's yellow. So I would say that that does count as having a yellow fin. So if yes, it tells us to go to number 10. So I'm going to flip it over to the back, and I'm going to go to 10. 10 says, is the fish green? Looking at that fish, I would definitely say that it's green. And so we have identified this fish as a sculpin wading. And so that's what we'll go ahead and write in this blank here. Great, so we have identified one of the fishes. Let's go to number 2, and we'll do that same process again. All right, so for the second fish, we'll start at number 1. It says, does the fish have its dorsal fin on its back that extends onto its head? It really doesn't. So we'll go to number 2. Does the fish have yellow fins? Looking at that fish, I don't see any yellow fins, so no. It tells us to go to 3. Number 3 says, does the fish have a red stripe on its back? Looking at that fish, it does look like it has a red stripe on its back. If yes, this fish is a greater weaver. So that is what this fish is. Greater weaver. All right, let's go to the next one. Number 3 here. Again, we always start at number 1. Does the fish have its dorsal fin that extends onto its head? No. So go to number 2. Does the fish have yellow fins? No. Go to number 3. Does the fish have a red stripe on its back? No. Go to number 4. Does the fish have blue fins? No. Go to 6. So I'll flip it over to the back. All right, 6 says, is the fish orange and black? No. So it tells us to go to number 7. Is the fish yellow with red fins? No. Go to 8. Does the fish have 2 dorsal fins? Remember, the dorsal fins are the fins on the back. And this one does look like it has 2 dorsal fins. So we have identified this fish as a Cathala croaker. These types of dichotomous keys would be very important for scientists because it helps them identify the type of fish that they might need to find for a certain type of experiment. But they are also good for pioneers or anyone who's going out into the woods. Imagine you're trying to live off the land. Some of these fish might be good to eat, and some of them might not be good to eat. So you could use a dichotomous key to identify the type of fish, and then you would know if this is a fish that you can eat or not. So that's some of the uses of these dichotomous keys. Let's go to the next one here, number 4. Okay. Does the fish have its dorsal fin that extends onto its head? No. So we'll go to 2. Does the fish have yellow fins? No. So we'll go to 3. Does the fish have red stripe on its back? No. Go to 4. Okay, 4 says, does the fish have blue fins? Looking at this, it does look like it has blue fins. So we'll say yes for this, and it tells us to go to 5. Does the fish have gray splotches, or is it solid gray? Looking at it, it looks solid gray to me. So this is a sooty grunter. Hopefully we're kind of getting the hang of these. Some of these are kind of difficult to do, but I would say even if you could only identify like half of them, you're kind of getting the hang of them, so that's great. One thing I would tell you is that each of these fish, the different species of fish is only going to be used one time. So if you got the same answer on multiple lines, you probably got one of them wrong, and you would need to go back and retrace your steps and see kind of where you messed up there. But let's go to 5. So 5. looking at this fish right here, it says, does the fish have its dorsal fin that goes onto its head? No, so we'll go to 2. Does the fish have yellow fins? No. Does the fish have red stripe on its back? No, so we'll go to 4. Does the fish have blue fins? It does look like it has some blue fins, so it tells us to go to 5. It's asking, is it solid gray or does it have gray splotches? And it looks like gray splotches to me, so this is an American tautog. All right, great. So we'll keep this going. We're almost halfway through with these. So let's look at 6. For number 1, dorsal fin onto its head, no, so we'll go to 2. Does it have yellow fins? It does. So if yes, it tells us to go to 10. So we'll flip it over to the back to go to 10. Is the fish green? No. Go to 11. Does the fish have yellow and red fins? It does have yellow and red fins, so this is a Toronto grunt. Great. All right, let's do 7. Y'all are doing great. Thanks for hanging in there with me. So looking at 7 here. Does the fish have its dorsal fin that extends onto its head? No. Go to 2. Does the fish have yellow fins? Yes, it does. So it tells us to go to 10. All right. Is the fish green? No. So go to 11. Does the fish have yellow and red fins? No, so go to 12. Does the fish have fins that are tipped with yellow or a yellow chin? Okay, the fins look more of a solid yellow to me, but it does look like it has a yellow chin. If you look there right under its lips, there's a little bit of yellow there. So according to this dichotomous key, this is an orange chromide. Never heard of that fish before. Great. So I feel like we're getting the hang of these. Let's just finish this worksheet out real quick. All right, so we'll do 8 next. Does the fish have its dorsal fin that extends onto its head? No, go to 2. Does the fish have yellow fins? It does have a little bit of yellow on those fins. So it tells us to go to 10. All right, is the fish green? No, go to 11. Does the fish have yellow and red fins? No, go to 12. Does the fish have fins that are tipped with yellow or a yellow chin? They are tipped in yellow, just the little bit at the end there are yellow. So this is a type of clownfish. All right, couple more. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Let's go to 9. All right, so does the fish have its dorsal fin that extends onto its head? No, go to 2. Does the fish have yellow fins? They don't really look, well, are they yellow here? Yeah, I would say they're yellow. They've got maybe orange or yellow, but the top one looks more yellow. So does it have yellow fins? Yes, go to 10. All right, is the fish green? No, go to 11. Does the fish have yellow and red fins? No, go to 12. Does the fish have fins that are tipped in yellow or a yellow chin? Okay, so I think let's back up here because I think we made a mistake. For 12, both of those answer choices have been used again. So the good thing about these is all of the answer choices for 12 have already been used, but we'll just start back over at 1. I think we know where the mistake was, so we'll just change it at that point and see if we can come up with something else here. So let's start over for 9. It says, does the fish have its dorsal fin that extends onto its head? No. So we'll go to 2. Does the fish have yellow fins? Last time we said yes, so this time they really look more orange to me, so let's go with no this time. Okay, so now does the fish have red stripe on its back? No, it tells us to go to 4. Does the fish have blue fins? No, go to 6. So here we go. 6 says, is the fish orange and black? It is definitely orange and black, and so this is an orange clownfish. So it's okay to make mistakes on these. They can be kind of tricky. The color is a little subjective. It's hard to tell if it's orange or yellow, but we made a simple correction there, and we have identified that fish correctly. So now we'll go to 10. All right, so 10. Does the fish have its dorsal fin that extends onto its head? This one does. So this is, I know we've asked that question like 100 times at this point, but you can see how this dorsal fin goes all the way over to its head. So I would say yes for this one. And so this fish is a warty handfish. Great, just a couple left. All right, let's look at 11. So does the fish have its dorsal fin that extends onto its head? No. Does it have, go to 2, does the fish have yellow fins? No. Go to 3. Does the fish have a red stripe on its back? No. Okay, go to 4. Does it have blue fins? No. Go to 6. All right. Is it orange and black? No, it's more of a brown color, so go to 7. Is the fish yellow with red fins? No. Go to 8. Does the fish have 2 dorsal fins? No, it's one long dorsal fin, so it tells us to go to 9. Does the fish have an upward-facing mouth and a flat head? This one does have an upward-facing mouth compared to all the other ones, and it does have a flat head. So this is a half-spined flat head. Great work. I got one more for us to do. We could probably identify it just based off of process of elimination, but just for practice, let's go ahead and start at number 1 like we've been doing and see if we can identify it that way. So number 1 says, does the fish have its dorsal fin that extends onto its head? No. Go to 2. Does the fish have yellow fins? It does have some of those fins have a little bit of yellow, but they're mostly red. So I'm going to go with no for this. Does the fish have a red stripe on its back? No. Go to 4. Does the fish have blue fins? No. Go to 6. Okay, is the fish orange and black? No. So we'll go to 7. Is the fish yellow with red fins? Now that describes it really well. Yes. So this is a pitted stonefish. All right, y'all, thank you so much for following along with me. I wanted to make sure I went over how to use that dichotomous key. Remember, you always start at number 1, and you just kind of follow the directions and go to the number that it tells you to go to. If you do it the right way, you'll be able to identify organisms that you've never even seen before. So, your teacher has some other work for you to do today. Make sure to give that your best effort, and I hope everybody has a great day.